Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Um, my name is Durable, and I'm here with Flower. Today is the third
Hi.
episode, and today we're gonna be talking about contracts.
Wait, we're talking about what today?
Contracts,
On a Monday? Oh man. Okay. Just playing.
as your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time,
Yes.
is something special, right? About the industry we're in, the whole entertainment industry. Like everything gets done through contracts and we don't like them. No artists like contracts. They'd be like, "Oh, can we do this under the table or stuff like that?" No, you need a contract because if not, then things starts going crazy really fast. So, if you want to start talking about the topic, Flower, what can you tell us about the contracts?
Oh, okay. So the first thing about contracts, like you were saying, you've gotta have one. If you don't have a contract, you're not like even really doing business. I mean, everything is a contract and take it for what it's worth. You can have professional legal contracts, you can have written contracts, you can have verbal contracts, you can have all types of contracts, but you've got to actually enter into what's called a business deal or a contract to actually contract the business, right? Contractual
Exactly.
business. So yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of things to cover under that topic.
in music
Simply because,
specifically,
yeah, simply because there is no right or wrong way to well, there's a right way and a wrong way to word things, but there's no right or wrong for your contracts. You can request and demand, pretty much however you want things to go, and that's the importance of being able to
and that's the
understand
thing.
really where you want to go with things.
You're not forced to sign anything. If you're if somebody's forcing you to sign something, then that's a problem. So we can start with that. So why are contracts important? Because like you never know what's gonna happen, and you need to play it safe in a way. So yes, there's verbal contracts, but most of the time you want to have everything written down. That's the main rule of everything practically. Like whenever you're working with something, so with someone or a company, you want to have everything written down. So let's say you're an artist trying to do a song with a producer, then you need probably a split sheet with this producer or a work for hire type of contract to know who the rights of the songs are going to belong to. Because if not, everybody claims their part, and then, oh, but why are you claiming so much of the song or anything? Like, it seems like small things, but a lot of these things end up in court because people don't sign contracts or sign contracts that are not good for them without reading them. Like, I always
Just
read.
a really big part is that um, people don't read.
Yeah,
Not only do they not read, but they don't comprehend, they don't question, they don't care when they're
it,
signing. They just see the amount or they see the opportunity and they don't do the due diligence. And that's bringing into contracts today is gonna bring up the other part of something that I deal with too, and that's the legal aspect of things. Um, you can have you can have a lawyer on retainer for very cheap these days. I suggest it if you're in entertainment or have any kind of business dealings. I also suggest it on a personal level, and not to cut off anything you wanted to say, but I believe that you it's a lot easier to just have a contract you're looking over, throw it to an attorney to look over, Ask if it's in your best interest. Ask if there's any points that you need to change or ask or manipulate. And it's so easy to have that done rather than run into something down the road where it's a clause that you can't get out of something or you get trapped in a deal. And I say this because there's a lot of artists over the past 20 years, especially the ones who have been like trying to break out for the past 10 years of their deals, who have gotten like these slave deals, and they're basically owned, and they're owned
Yeah,
as entertainers. They own your rights to perform, they own your music. You're just
they
the
own your
picture.
royalties.
Yeah, you're just a royalty to them. And as we've also seen with in recent years, and not to put any blame on any particular anything, any direction, but these labels are taking out life insurance policies on artists, and then artists disappear.
I mean,
And you can only imagine the contract that you would have had to assign your life away to
even
people to have that be. I mean, like, yeah. So
contracts are so important that even when you're signing the terms of service to any company or anything, any service you're getting online, like you gotta read them most of the time because we don't like to read them and everybody skips the terms of service. Guess what? Most of the distributors in the music industry, in the terms of service, have that they will give your music to an AI company to use or something like that. Like they have little clauses like that where when you're accepting the terms of service, you're signing a contract. So
yeah.
everything, read before you sign, read
And
before
these
you
days,
accept.
they're not even asking you to sign. They're asking you to click here.
Yep,
So you have to pay attention to that. Like, you don't even have to
exactly.
sign a contract anymore. As
A
long as you
little
click
click,
here and it goes to your email, it's a done deal.
and that's it. And that's exactly it. So going back to the artist producer type of thing, like when you're working with anyone, I don't care if you're working with a friend or let's say your brother, you need a contract when you're doing any type of music work in between the people that are working together. Because, like I said, eh, that's your money at the end of the day. And if there's any disagreement with that person and you have it in paper, you're safe. If you don't have it in paper, when that goes to court for any reason, if you had any kind of argument over a song with someone, like who's gonna win that case? How's that case gonna go? It could go either way if you don't have it on paper, and then you can lose a song you wrote by yourself, or half of your royalties, which is most of the time what happens when you write a song with somebody else. Like half of the royalties are going to that person, unless you have that contract. That work for hire when you work with a producer is very important because if not, that producer can like get royalties from your song, unless like let's say you wanted to give him a percentage of this of the song, like that's different, and that all need to be written on a split sheet or a work for hire, and that's very important. Now when you're signing a contract with a company, I give an example, like I tend to give this example, but let's say you're talking with any company around that are trying to manage your career or is trying to manage your career, and this company is asking for most of your royalties, more of your like income streams when it comes to royalties. Let's say, oh, we will give you the royalties coming from your music on Spotify, but we will take anything coming from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, etc. Then what are you really left with if your song is not a hit? And what are they giving you back? Because if they're giving you a big deal up front or something, that's different. But if they're not giving anything up front and they're taking all your royalties for a promise, and that's a red flag right there. You need to like probably read the contract, try to to negotiate your contract with that company, like, and if you don't come to an agreement, then you just walk away. Everybody shakes the other hands and walk away, because it's better to keep that door open either way. Like if you don't come to an agreement, then closing the door. Obviously, there's some contracts that are very insulting, and you'll feel like they're insulting you. But it's like playing poker. Keep that face and walk away. Like say no and walk away. If you hear back from them and they wanna like offer you something better, that's great. If you don't hear
And
back from them, there's a lot more opportunities coming up front.
here's something though too is that don't be scared of contracts either. You can always write a line in there, a clause for yourself that gives you an option to be able to pull out of a contract or renegotiate a contract. It's pretty much like a prenuptial agreement these days. Like you
Yeah.
can write whatever you want, the
Even
terms of
that's a contract.
so like yeah, well, because it's a partnership, so it is. And but so like a lot of the contracts that I write with people, let's just say it's a 6 month term. If I'm strategizing for somebody, and let's just say they've paid the annual fee, right? Let's just say I'm running a special. It's $2,900, and that includes a year of working with me and whatever, brainstorming, just whatever for hire, whatever. And I write in that I can renegotiate the terms of this contract after 6 months, because after 6 months of working with you, I might not want to continue working with
Hmm.
you, or your work ethic, or whatever the case is. And I like to give people an out, because I have lived, long enough in this industry to know that I sometimes want an out. My mind changes, the program changes, the direction of the world changes, and I don't want to be locked in and tied into something that isn't aligning with where I'm going. So we can renegotiate every 6 months. The expected term of the contract is a year or longer, but at 6 months I have the right to negotiate or look at it and see if we're going further, see if it's needing to go a different direction, see if there needs to be a bigger investment, see if the time management fits, because there's no need to continue on the services if they're not being utilized or being rewarding, in most cases with interaction in the industry. And
It's
that's
like
important too. Yeah, because
like
you'll sign on with somebody and you'll, pay for a year of service, and after 6 months, you don't need their services.
it's like an artist management contract. Usually they go for 3 years, like for managers, and they always have a sunset clause. Like, and they always have these terms like of how much is the manager gonna be paid, usually in percentages of what the artist made. Like if the manager is like booking events or something like that, they get a percentage from the event they're booking, stuff like that. But they always have that exit clause that, oh, for the next 2 years or next 3 years, like I'm gonna be like scaling down on how much I get paid after the contract, but I still get a percentage of what you're making, depending on the terms of the contract, either
Right.
royalties or events or something like that. They always have that sunset clause that lasts for 6 months to 3 years, sometimes even 10 years, which is hard to see, but also depends on how long that manager was working for you. Because maybe like that manager did such a hard work that they book events like 4 or 5 years down the line, which is a very rare case. Obviously, like usually most stuff gets booked within the same year or the year after, not more than that. But like if that manager is going the extra mile and booking events down the line, they still are going to want to be paid for that term. So that's on the sunset clause most of the time. And that's the thing is like usually you want to have like how long your contract's gonna be, what type of payment are gonna be received or given for that for those conditions. What happens if somebody breaks a contract, and how long after the contract is over are these people gonna be paid, or are they paid in full during the contract or after the term of the contract, something like that. After delivery, in certain cases, because if as a producer, if you're delivering files, you'll be expecting to get paid exactly at the time of delivery, or a week within delivery, or even 1 week, like one half before, like you start the project, and the other half after delivering the project. It all depends on the term you decided with this other part. So that's practically, if you want to round it up, like the main issue with most contracts, like reading, deciding what actually is going to be like done by each part, and then like what's going to close that contract at the end. Like after you close that contract, how long is that contract going to be living for? um Sorry, if you want to go ahead and keep and say something else, Flower, because I know I kind of closed the subject, but we're not done yet. We just
And no,
started
you're
with
good.
this.
You're good. I think again, I think that people really mishandle the use of contracts, and even with that, you have under contracts also comes release of liability forms. It comes
NDAs.
NDAs and things like that. And those are important up to a certain point because eh, and they were very important back in the day, but today a lot of thing is public usage. A lot of things
Yeah,
is already being recorded. So you have to kind of be careful because when you get too sticky with the NDAs in certain situations, I mean, you're taking away the livelihood sometimes what the art is. So you have to be kind of careful in the
the
situation when you
the
release those.
NDAs are a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're like blocking the disclosure of something, it may cause trouble, especially in music nowadays. Because nowadays you want to post like half of your creative process on those
Right.
social networks. And if you had an NDA, which still happens a lot in the music industry, um, what can you post and what can you not, and what is get decided by the artist, and what gets decided by the label or whoever's managing the artist, because there might be disagreements on what the artist, because like as artists, we can be very protective about our stuff, but not noticing that can damage our career, because like we may want to share that process, that creative process, a little bit more than we usually do, just to get in contact with the people and like show them
Well,
this
and I
is
think
this is
today,
really what we do.
yeah, to be fair, a lot of the information that we're giving is both sides, right? We're
Yeah,
we're touching both sides of it because there are and have always been very, very particularly proper ways of doing things in the industry. And then it became this whole indie game where kind of the new things were tried and there's so many different options. Like you can be an artist today. If you're a brand new person and you've never listened to music, never written music, never drawn, never done anything, never danced, never, did produced music, never spun a beat, you can start today in the next 30 days, you could be a worldwide sensation. It is what it is. There are avenues to make that happen. And it's just a whole different type of approach than it used to be. So, yes, you want to utilize all those things where it used to be really encouraged to hide the magic. To hide
Yeah.
the smoke and mirrors. You were to appear in full costume at all times. Nobody was to see you on your way into or out of the event. Nobody was to see you change costumes or know you changed costumes. Nobody was supposed to see the struggle it took to get to the stage. No one was supposed to see you get your makeup done by the makeup artist, and nobody was supposed to see you design your costume with the costume designer. Nobody was supposed to see you chilling with your family, at a holiday where you're just with your family and friends, and now it's sudden public everywhere, and you're using it as actual
Hmm.
like content instead of your actual artistry. So our avenue for monetization has changed in the artistic industry. And that's a big
Exactly.
thing. And that's why the contracts become even more important because they're less sacred now in the independent world because everybody wants to be independent. So there's no need to sign a contract working with people. But that's where the mistake comes in because you have to have that train and trail to be able to track, so you can monetize from the work that you've actually put in for your artistry.
Exactly, and there's a lot of type of contracts, and for a lot of different things. Because like we said, we can have contracts with the producers, which are split sheets and stuff like that. Work for hires in the music industry go a long way, so gotta keep that in mind. Distribution agreements, you probably, if you're a music artist, you already have one. I recommend reading the terms of service of the distributor you're working with, because there might be some things you might not like in there. If you haven't read them, like, go ahead and try to read them. Or there's people in YouTube that read them for you, so you just gotta go and follow along with them. But at the same time, it's very important. Some other type of agreements you can have in the music industry specifically are management agreements, which also that goes in the whole entertainment industry, because a lot of people in the entertainment industry have managers, and these managers can be good, but they can also mess up your career if they're not good. So you got to be careful on the contract you sign with them. What percentages are they getting from the money you're making? Because you always want to keep track of where your money is going. Even if you have a manager, you're always your own manager. You're managing a business, and you need to take care of that business. Not like, oh, I have a manager to do that job for me, and forget about that. And then all of a sudden you're stuck in a contract because you gave that manager permission to sign a contract for you, and you didn't even read the contract he signed for you. So you got to be very careful, not only with the people you hire, which obviously, yes, most of the time your manager is gonna be someone up close, but there might be some disagreements, and there's always room to talk about those disagreements with what your manager is doing. There's no wrong on telling them, hey, I don't want this or that. I don't want this contract because of this, or because of that. But you always gotta be on top of what you're signing or what your people is signing for you, even if like you give them permission to sign stuff for you. That's like a very important part of advice, I will say. Um, so for content creators, what kind of contracts can you find? Like brand sponsorship type of contracts, marketing, some other type of marketing contract. Like usually, we'll be working together with marketing agencies or people that work in the marketing side of things, because that's where most of your money as an influencer is gonna come, like from brands that you're advertising on your platforms, or whatever part you're doing. You also have a need to have a contract with your editor or whoever's like working managing your sites and stuff. Like what type of payment are you giving them, or all that. Sometimes, let's be honest, because we all do this sometimes. Sometimes we go under the table. We don't sign up a contract. We just like start working with someone, see how it goes, and then when things start scaling up, you need to sign up that contract. You need to like come to an agreement with that person, even if it's a small agreement. You still want to have that, because that is very important to have. Because let's say you're working with your editor, and you've been working together for years, your platform grows up, and your editor's now wanting to get some money out of it, and like how how are you gonna keep that editor working with you? You probably want to sign up an agreement with the editor, like, oh, from now on, I'm gonna pay you this much for keeping on doing my editing or something like that.
And that's
So
and that's why I say that it's really important to check in with the people that you work with. You know, like you would a partner. Like I foresee checking in with my partner, like my lifetime partner, on like a daily basis. Not
yeah,
this weekly or monthly check-in, but like daily. So when you're, let's just say now, working partner, maybe working partners, you check in once a week or twice a week to make sure you're on the same page. Same thing goes with any kind of contract or anybody you have working with you. You have to check in with that person. You have to see if if your needs are still meeting each other's, if the passion to work is still there. You don't want people working on your team that don't want to be there, and you don't want anybody expecting to get a certain amount that they don't understand all the way through. So, like, let's say you are working with that person from the beginning when there's not a lot of money, and there's not a lot of money exchange, and everybody just agrees to work together, but you don't really write a contract. You're just kind of making it happen. So you got to tap back in a few months, see where you're at, see what is that, and then write yourselves in accordingly. There may not be any money to share right now. There may not be any money to pay anybody right now, but you might be able to pay people with stock from the business that you've created. You might be able to pay people, based upon record sales, or based upon performances, or based upon other things, merch and other things. So just, it's important, I think, especially when we're talking contracts, contract to be able to check in with your people at least every 60 to 90 days with somebody working with you, because that will help ridiculously the amount of expectation you have 2 years down the road, when that guy comes back around and says, hey, you never paid me for such and such I did for you, and that song blew up, and I feel like I deserve this, because you've literally exchanged all the way down the road of what the exchange needs to be. And if that person is supposed to have whatever amount they feel, it'll be written right there, two
yep,
years from now, from where it was 2 years from then, when what they said they wanted 2 years from now happens. And that's kind of where it has to be. And I think that over the years of doing business and watching other people do business in this industry, it is so very important to just stay solid, keep your word. You might have nothing right now as an artist, because I like to, this music industry costs money. And
a
let's
lot.
face it, people are in it to make money. Contracts are about money and about all of that, right? About protection, money, all these things, your value and your worth. You have to value yourself to understand that everything you do out there is and can be monetized at this point, but you have to enjoy it along the way. You have to enjoy the people around you and trust the people around you. You have the opportunity in today's market and independence market to be able to do that, whereas the legends of the past did not have such a knowledge and opportunity on how things worked to be able to do things completely independently. Back then, the only way to get recognized or to get in the industry was to be able to be signed, to be stamped, to be presented per se by somebody else. And it's so different now. It is so different now. For the first time in our lives, you have all of the opportunities in your hands, and you can be a solid person. You have to really sit down and think about what it is you want the outcome of your career to be, and you need to really create the steps and the path to make that happen. It's strategic, it's doable, and with a little bit of knowledge and interaction, you can make that happen. And today, you have things like artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
you know, that can help you. You have CGI. You have all of these different tools that have been created on the internet that are mostly for free or for a low upgrade to be able to help you with those goals, all of the things that the labels did and the booking agents and all of the things. Not saying you don't want to have those as your record career or as your music career or whatever artistry grows, but you can start very simple and just write good contracts, do good business, keep your word, and be solid. And you can get results when you also deal with people who operate in those categories like that as well.
Also remember, a good
Like I said,
contract,
yeah.
a good contract is the one that works well for both sides. If a contract is heavily one-sided, do not take it. You don't have to. Until you take the contract, you're not forced to do anything. So you can negotiate as much as you want. But if you feel like a contract is too one-sided, like I mentioned earlier, if somebody's asking for most of your royalties and not giving you anything back, why would you want to take that contract? Because they promising you views? Like
I mean,
most,
that's basically an internship at the price of your intellectual
yeah,
property.
property.
Yeah.
So
Which
no,
which which in some cases there have been proven that when you intern with a camp and you get to input on records and you get to learn and do artist development with that camp, and they're investing a little bit into you, sometimes that can be okay, but you have to have it make sense.
yeah,
You
but
can't
for
allow them to own everything that you do for the next 10 years just
exactly.
because you're working with them for the experience and for the artist development.
And also be very careful with long contract terms. Like if a
Yeah.
contract goes on for too long, that's scary most of the time, especially in the music side of things. Because if you're stuck with a label for 10 years, you're stuck with the label for 10 years, no matter what
And that's
happens.
what I'm saying. Like, don't cheat yourself out of a 10-year great monetary contract. Just make sure that your lawyer or your team make sure that you write yourself a clause that allows you, not them, to negotiate or dump you or drop or change that allows you to renegotiate those terms or pull away at any time it doesn't meet your artistic boundaries.
Always,
And that's allowed more and more. It's as these things are coming up because of what's happened in the past. You have the right to be heard.
another thing, if you're not sure, don't sign it. Talk to somebody else. Like most, like I would say, the most important thing will be talking to a lawyer. But if you can find a lawyer, try to find someone that will read your contract and give you an opinion on it. Because maybe at least that opinion is going to help you decide a little bit better.
And speaking of course, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can get you connected with the lawyer services that I use. It's like having a lawyer at your fingertips on retainer. And there's entertainment lawyers. There's lawyers for every category, but we're talking about entertainment. So they connect you with an entertainment lawyer in your area who will look over your contracts, who will basically be on the line for you for different things that you may need down the road and any kind of legal questions you have. So please do not hesitate to, link with me, leave me a message, comment here, subscribe to the channel, interact with us, here on the show. You can always send a message for things that you want to learn on the show
Yeah,
or
feel free
any of
to
the
reach out
information that we provide, any of the resources and things like that. So
and
just
ask
want
questions, because those questions will give us a subject to talk about most of the time. Because like any type of question you may have, if we don't know it, maybe we can go research for it. And if we know it, we will try to answer to the best of our capacity. Like, I love researching new stuff. AI, I'm a lot into AI, even though I have my issues with AI at the same time, because right now they're overusing the music stuff, and that's a whole other topic. But the thing is, like, feel free to reach out to us, ask any question you may
like
have.
that's like AI for AE. They should call that a they need to call it AIAE,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence audio engineering, or AIAC, audio creation.
I'm not
Because
sure,
like,
but
yeah,
like I
something.
said, I don't want to dive into that topic right now, because we will divert and go like
It's
all the
like
way down
it's like
that
artificial
rabbit hole.
audio adjust. Oh, it's AAA.
So yeah, just feel free to reach out with any questions. And like, if you want me to review a contract for you, I'll review it. I'm not a lawyer though, so I will recommend you to reach out to a lawyer. But I can see the terms and tell you, um, might be good, might be bad. Like, it depends on what type of contract it is, obviously. But if I see something in the contract that I think it's not good, I will let you know. Like, this is probably not good. Go to a lawyer right away. Don't like, don't only take my opinion, but feel free to, like, reach out with any questions. I may try to answer to like I said, to the best of my capacity. So yeah, that's mainly it, I think, for contracts. What do you think, Flower? Do you have any other things you want to mention?
Yeah, I want to encourage people to get creative. So here's the thing about a contract, and I say this with an open heart. You can sit and create your own contracts. You
Yes,
don't even have to always sign other people's contracts. Like, it doesn't have
you
to
can.
be their
You can
terms.
also have your own templates for contracts most of the time,
Yeah,
because
like
there's
you can
some.
outsource your own so like, I have a basic like consultation contract that I use with people when they contact me. It's just a simple one-page thing saying, "Hey, you're going to tell me some of your personal business and your angles, and
Yeah,
I'm going to give you my personal opinion and or my experienced expertise or
exactly.
whatever opinion on the subject, and that's it. You're not bound to use it. I'm not contracted to do any services for you, any of those things. And it's just a simple thing saying, hey, you're allowing me to speak to you today, and you're allowing me to I'm allowing you to speak to me, and you're allowing me to speak to you, and it's that simple.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I've actually had some issues with people like talking to me, and I'm like, I didn't, like,
I,
why
I,
are you still
I
telling
didn't
me you're
ask you
like,
to talk to me.
yeah, like, it's one thing to ask a very broad question, but then to sit here and tell me in the back and the forth and the drama, and I like, I don't,
Yeah,
I didn't ask for all that. So, and
I
I get
understand
paid
that.
to do that. So, like, it wouldn't be fair to my clients that retain my services annually to be able to just talk. I mean, I do obviously talk to people, randomly, and just when I feel like talking. But if I don't feel like, so yeah. So, but that's where the contract comes in. And then I have contracts that are real creative, and that are basically that I send out to people when I'm seeking business with people, or I'm seeking to partner with someone, or I'm looking um to market something that they are, or maybe I think they're a cool business and I would like to be able to share their information and things like that. I send out a really creative contract that basically says, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm going to be doing. Hope you have a nice day. If you have any questions, give me a call." And then if they have a problem with it, they can say, "Oh, well, hey, like we noticed that you like are sharing our stories or whatever, like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever." And maybe they open a contract with me and say, "Well, hey, we like your style, we're willing to pay this much for this." Or maybe I come back to them in a few months and say, "Oh, hey, did anybody stop by, from the post that I did last week?" And they're like, "Oh my god," whatever the case is. You can get really creative in working with people and protecting yourself, and I think that that's a big part of what contracts is protecting your work.
Not
So
only
many
that.
people act for free and they work on people's
Hmm.
projects and they're expecting to be paid, and then the payment never comes. People get mad. You cannot get mad if you are already under the expectation of what it is. Draw it out, write a line, say what it is. Now, there has been times where, let's just say during Coachella, I'm out here in the Coachella Valley, California, right? The Desert Empire. And we have the Coachella Fest, which is one of the largest music festivals, or whatever for our area.
Yeah,
And
it's one of the most famous too.
well, currently, yeah, I mean there are obviously newer things that will surpass it over the years that are making great impact. Some really cool freaking places. But at this time, yes, we stand to be, the granddaddy of them all. And here's the thing. I know that there's hundreds of artists coming into my desert during those weekends, right? So I have 6 days where I can connect with people. I can send out information for them to connect with us, to do interviews, to do live shows, to do all of these different things. And I can't always promise them as a small media company that I
Hmm.
can pay them thousands and 20,000s to come to the club or to come to an interview, whatever. I can't promise that. What I can promise is an honest, different type of approach. Appreciation as an artist, like it's like more of an artist appreciation than like, hey, come to our thing. I want to show them how they've touched our lives and how I'm appreciative of those things. And I always write in a clause that says, hey, by the way, if we choose with the option to monetize our video, or we make any money, or anything, brings us a significant amount of money over such and such amount,
Hmm.
we are willing to give you 1% or 2% of,
Yeah.
the idea of whatever happens with this particular participation that you're willing to give us. And I've never had a problem. And I've never had
No.
anybody say like, "Oh, you owe us $20,000." Like, no,
No.
it is what it is. And it's sometimes the honesty in your offer that makes for a good contract.
The
So
good
when
thing.
you're also signing contracts and people are offering you contracts, you have to just make sure that it aligns with what you want to happen for your business.
The good thing about having contract is that mostly everything gets like talk about up front, so you know what you're expecting. Like
Exactly. You
nobody's
know
gonna
what your
cross you
you
over.
know what your responsibilities are. You know what you're expecting. And should things happen and they don't go that way, you have that protection on yourself to say, "Oh no, I never agreed to that," or "This was not part of the contract," or "This was to be contracted separately," or "Hey, they didn't pay me where they said they were going to pay me for such and such at this date. That didn't happen. Where do we go from here?"
And another thing, and this is very important in our industry, like while money is very valuable, value doesn't only come from money.
Indeed.
So yes, sometimes you're doing a contract for money, but sometimes you can do a contract for a type of value, like the interviews, for example. If you're an artist and you're interested of on having an interview with with someone, uh, but let's say for some reason that person is like requiring you to pay, or you're requiring that person to pay, like you can come to a different kind of agreement on like values. Like for example, oh, if I get this many views, then this is how we do it. This is how we split
Yeah.
the gains from that video or something like that.
Yeah,
So
never underestimate the power of barter and communication. I mean, it really comes down to that. And I think that that's another thing too. People are doing business, they want to do business somewhere. They get presented a contract, and instead of like, really reading the contract and negotiating the contract to make it make sense, they're just so eager to sign the contract to do the business that
yeah,
they just don't pay attention. And I think that that really hurts people all
it,
around. It doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the next person and the next person, and it hurts the business you're signing with, because you might have one thing in that contract that needs to change, and it could be a big deal that makes a lot of sense for whatever you're doing. And that's just all there is to it.
label agreements and management agreements are, I will say, are two of the most important contracts you will find in this industry,
That's where it
because
gets tricky.
that's where a lot of people try to get you at the same time. Like there's you're gonna get. Here's the thing: if there's one manager coming after you, there's probably three more that will be interested on your project. Same thing with labels. If there's one label coming after you as an artist, there's probably three other labels that will have better offers if you give them time. So don't take the first contract you see because oh, I'm getting signed by this company. Maybe give it a little bit before you sign the contract. Like always try to get what's what works best for you. At the same time, if you're working with somebody else, let's say you're a producer and you're trying to work with an artist and you're very interested on that artist, don't try to screw the artist over. And sorry for the wording, but like, come on, there's a lot you can do for an artist, and a lot an artist can do for you just because you came to the right terms instead of trying to get a lot of money out of the artist. Because I've seen a lot of producers doing that, like trying to get a lot of money out of the artist, but what is the artist getting in exchange? Like, no, you gotta
And I
try to
think
come to.
that's yeah, but you have to know what level you're working with too. Like if you're a producer that's an A-list producer, like let's just say Hit Boy, and you're working with all top A-list artists, and you have like someone in the middle who you've heard their music, it's not really like your style or your vibe, and they're willing to pay you for your services, then by all means. But when you're working with an up and coming artist who's hungry, who's, you like their vibe, you're feeling their flow and those kind of things, sometimes you got to just help the next man up. And so it's where it's always about monetary when you get up there, because you're creating a legacy, you're creating long-term investment. I think that there's definitely an open window for craft to still be recognized as craft. So
Exactly.
don't underestimate yourself. I think that in this new age of where music is going, I think that people really need to get back to the talent
Yeah,
and get back to the actual artistry. And the business side of it is very important, but more so your talent and your skill, your reason, your message. Because I know we talked about this on another episode, but sometimes, you could be very versatile and you can be all over the place as an artist. but that doesn't always get you in the direction you want to go. You have to kind of pick a direction and go, and then figure out what, you know, where you're going to go with it. So I don't know, sorry, I got a little off
It's
topic,
okay.
but
We can get a
um,
little bit of topic every now and then. It's good. But yeah,
I
at
just
the
think
end,
that it's very important to not count yourself out. You know, there are bad contracts and there are good
yes.
contracts, and you know, you just kind of gotta, maybe we can do an episode further, or like a little skit on like a bad contract versus a good contract. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we
we
can
can
like
do
role play
we
or
can even do a
something and be like,
negotiation.
okay, I got a contract they want me to sign. Here, look at it. And it's like, oh, give me your soul, your firstborn kid, and you get a Lamborghini today. Like, and you get to go on stage 4 times this year. No, that's a bad contract. Like, type of deal. Yeah.
I have a great example of that. It's like venues. Like when a venue is trying to, oh, you get to play these venues this many times a year, but when you see the venue is not that good, then
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yeah, it's not Caesars or, Madison Square Garden. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you're just playing in the corner bar, and then like, oh, wait,
Don't get me wrong. If you've got a good contract for a corner bar and you've
good
got,
if
steady
it's good.
money coming in weekly, you can turn that into something. You just have to learn how to do that. You can turn it
Exactly.
into your own palace of production. You just have to really like get it figured out. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Don't cheat the easy contract because you're afraid to learn how to make your own money. Just because they're not paying you a $10,000 to come perform on Saturday nights, if they allow you to take over Saturday nights to perform, turn it into your own $10,000 night.
hey, and not only that, and sorry to interrupt you. I know I'm going in a different
But
path
make
right
sure you
now,
get it written in the contract that you can make money on top of whatever they're paying you.
but right now, let's say, there's a lot of places that will tell you like, oh, I want you to play here, but I can't pay you. I like, but you get the exposition. Most of the time, that's not gonna be the best deal you can get. But let's say you play a bar, okay, you did it for free the first time, but they want you to play it again. Then you're like, okay, last time it worked out, so now we want to change it a little bit. Let's say you, instead of like 100, maybe you can ask for a 50 or a 25 if you're a solo artist. Obviously, I'm not talking about bands because that's a whole different scale of money. But at the same time, like you can come to an agreement. Like, oh, what if I can try to get this many people to come in? Can we like do some kind of deal where you get me pay me some of the like people that are coming in, like haven't paid an entrance or something, like an entrance fee or something like that. Like,
You can always turn it into your own show. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can always turn it into something. You could turn it into, you could be playing at a bar and you can turn it into a video, a live video for yourself. You can turn it
yeah,
into a live stream. You could be live streaming on all of the live stream sites, and you could be live streaming on YouTube and all of the
hey,
social media sites, and you could make yourself the money by them giving you the open space to do so. You can also create, work with a company like a media company, a promotion company, to be able to create a ticket and be able to charge your own ticket for the experience. So maybe you're not charging an entry fee, but you're charging for participation in whatever you have going on. And maybe you say their name when they, check into the venue. Now they're checking into the venue's making money, it's getting some advertisement, they're making money at the bar, they've got the $100 to pay you, you got a free video, everybody there got content. I mean, there's always a way to make it happen. And I think that because that's kind of like what I do, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm a strategist. Some people call me a muse. I work with people to just come up with all of these creative ideas of ways to, make things happen on top of things that are already happening, so that you can use that motion to create, motion for yourself. And I come across a lot of people all the time, and they just don't see a way out of any way. I see so many people like, oh well, I can never afford to get a $20,000 artist. I'd have to sell such and such amount of tickets. Okay, well then don't get the $20,000 artist. Become the $20,000 artist yourself.
Hmm. And yeah, like we were saying, turn bad opportunities, try to turn them into better ones. Not all the time. Obviously, you don't want to take a very bad contract that's taking your money away. But if you have a venue, maybe like they paying you with exposure. Why not create your own exposure instead? Like,
Exactly. They're giving you a creative space to create opportunity for yourself. So you have to create that
and
opportunity.
not only that, if that venue is asking you to play for exposure, play once for exposure. Cause you know what that will give you? A testing of that venue. You get to test out that venue
Yeah.
to then know if you can do it again and bring money out of that venue, or if the venue is really bad and you don't want to do it again. At least you got to test it out. So and that content you made, you still can use it, because that's something I told like all the artists I talk with, like anything you do, create it for content, use it for content, because it's always going to be good. Like you see these big artists nowadays, most of them, like the old ones, they don't post too much of their concerts, but they do snippets every now and then. Like right now, you still can use a lot of your concert and post it online and have people like, oh, I like his, like how he does his concert. Like I want to
Yeah.
go see them live. Like these guys dancing in the stage like crazy. I want to go see them live. So, little things like that. Like they can become big in no time. You can go viral. Who knows? Like bet for yourself, not against yourself. So use your creative moments and your like live the moments you play live to like expose them. Um, I wanted to say something. We're not on the pandemic anymore, but all the tools that were very important to survive during the pandemic, they're still around. We just need to take advantage of them. So online concerts are still a thing.
Hell yeah. No, we do a monthly live. I don't call it like I don't know if I would call it a concert, but we do a live stream every month, and it has live performances, it has interviews, it's got some behind the scenes. It's got like all types of tidbits, people saying hi from other places, like, and the tickets are cheap. I mean, you're not going in person, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about food, drink, security. You don't have to worry about getting trampled. You don't have to worry about
Yeah,
seating. You don't have to worry about the heat or the cold. You just tune in on the live stream, and if you miss it, it'll repeat itself and you can go back and rewind it. That's the
exactly.
cool part about it. And while it's happening, you can interact with it and you can be part of the show in ways too. And we do that yeah, over at Girl Monday Media .com. We do tickets. We help them create the ticketing process for that live stream, and we help also cast that as well. So if you are an artist and you are looking for some exposure and a little bit of ways to create more monetary for yourself, just to have like a little bit of cash in your pocket to do like some other stuff or anything else, and put together some things for you, you can again go there, and there's usually tickets or a wait list available for that live stream, and you can apply to be on it. And or if you want to watch it, I think that For the summer, we went dark because it's really hot. So I think August. I think in August is our next live stream. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And maybe we'll give away some tickets here on the show. But
That's
they're
nice.
cheap. I mean, and it's a way, like I said, concerts have become really expensive, especially
Yeah,
if it's somebody paying 20, $30 at a door to see, independent artists, and they only perform two songs and they come in at midnight like a regular artist would on a walkthrough. It's not, I don't know. You got to create more ways to make money, and we found that this is a good way to keep some flow streams going because people can get tickets for less than $10, and again they know it's going to the artist. So that's another thing too, is each individual artist or organization that's going to be part of our live stream, we actually create a ticket for them to market, so any money that comes in on that ticket over the service fee for the media contract, it goes back into their pocket.
that's great.
Yeah, because I mean, the venue's already there, that everything's already happening. Like like it's internet. Like I I don't you try not to work with companies that want to get rich off of your artistry. Making money with somebody and helping them achieve, a career is a lot different than using people so that you can then live off of the earnings of them. It's basically prostitution, and living off the earnings of a prostitute is like, not okay. So therefore you can't just treat artists like that. Artists are done being treated like that. And yeah, so tap in. There's so many different ways and so many different connections that you can get, applying the things that we're sharing with you here. Obviously, we are involved in different areas ourselves. I know we went over kind of a little bit about who we are on one of our first episodes, which you guys can connect with. I'm sure it's connected here somewhere on this channel. Um, but yeah, and shout out to StreamYard and YouTube for always allowing us to be able to live stream and allowing us to bring you this information right into your devices wherever you're watching from. So I appreciate that. But yeah, connect with us. There's so many different ways. Um, if you have any questions and things like that, because there's no stupid question that's asked, right? Like
Yeah,
if you can think it, there should be an answer for it.
I know this is a little bit rough, but we used to say in the military, there's no stupid questions. There's only stupid people that don't ask.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was getting at. I couldn't remember the term that I had heard it before, but that's pretty much the same, down the
Yeah,
same road.
the same
Like
path.
the only stupid oh, there we go. The only stupid question is the question that's unasked.
Yeah.
There you
So
go. Okay.
the thing is, we're here to help. Like like I said, I don't know everything in this industry, but I love this industry and I like learning about it. So, like whatever information I don't have, I will look it up. I will ask Flower. I will like ask any of my contacts from like Full Sail or wherever I can find somebody to answer my question. So feel free to ask. I will try to post our links in down in the description from now on, so that it's easier to reach us out. Um, and for today, I think that's gonna be it. Um, so like we said, we talk about contracts today, and we talk a lot of little details, extra details that are not related to contract. Go ahead, Flower. You have anything?
Oh no, I was just saying hi to the people out there that were chiming in. I was blowing kisses to the world and saying hi.
Well, so yeah,
I
for
saw
today,
special guests tap in, so I just wanted to say hi.
so for today, I think that will be all. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.